Hello, hello, it's day 3. How's it going? Please let me know in the comments. Can you keep up with the replays? Did you join me live? What's going on? Have you been working on the strategic alignment? Have you thinking about the legal aspects of your business? I know it's a lot, and today we're going to dive into even more stuff. And it's going to be amazing. I'm very happy that you're here. I'm super excited to introduce you to the 9-part framework specifically designed for you guys, for you as sleep consultants, for us to solidify your branding before you start thinking about marketing strategies, which we're going to talk about tomorrow on day 4. But what I see happening a lot is that, oh no, I must say, like, most often sleep consultants come to me, sleep consultants who have an established business already, and they come to me with questions like, I'm posting 3 times a week, but I still have no clients. Well, what am I doing wrong? Is my messaging wrong? Is my feed not looking nice enough? Are they saying, like, I'm hosting webinars every week, but there's nobody showing up? Or, yeah, I've set up a funnel, but there's nobody signing up for my funnel. All these questions, they come from the place of, like, there must be a problem with my marketing. But what I see a lot of times, it's that you don't have a marketing problem, you have a branding problem. And that comes because branding is the foundation. Branding comes first, and then marketing. So, and a lot of times we get so focused, and I said that yesterday as well, on Instagram and making a beautiful grid, but we're missing the foundation. So the first step of this framework is what we've done on Monday, and I'm going to dive into that in a little bit. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, what framework, what 9 steps, where is it? I created a roadmap. So if you go on Facebook, if you scroll a little bit down, you're gonna see this popping up. And at the end of this live session, I'm gonna make sure that I add it in the comments, so you can find it there as well. And these are the 9 steps I wanna take you through today. This is your branding roadmap. This is the foundation of your business. And then we can talk about marketing and strategies and which places you wanna be showing up. So the approach that I'm going to show you today is the exact same approach that I'm using for my one-on-one clients to make sure that their branding is strong and effective. And that's what I'm going to help you with today as well. So grab a piece of paper and a pen, because yesterday was pretty theoretical, but today is really a hands-on lesson. For every of those 9 boxes that you see on this framework, I want you to have written down something on your paper. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it's going to be a lot today, but I want you to understand what to think about, which questions to answer in each of those boxes. Because when you have this clear, when you have this foundation, your marketing, the messaging, the creation of your online presence is going to be so much easier, because we have the foundation. It's like building a house, right? We cannot start building the walls. We first need to put the foundation in the floor, because otherwise we can build really beautiful walls and we paint them very nicely, but within a couple of weeks or months, everything collapses. I don't want that for you. I want you to build a business with a strong foundation, so that everything that you build on top of it is just gonna be a confirmation of the things that you figured out. The foundation is not fun. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's the part that nobody's gonna see, but it's the part that people sense. They feel it. It's a certain vibe. It's the authenticity that comes up, and that comes up from the foundation. So it's not something you talk about, but it's something you use for the stuff that you're gonna talk about, and that is your marketing. So take a look at this 9-step framework, and the first one is the VMC framework. That's your first step. So either way, on your piece of paper, make those 9 boxes so you have something to fill in, or just write down the number 1, and whatever we're going to talk about in the number 1, you can write it down. And again, don't write down what I'm telling you, write down things that come up for you. So your insights, your aha moments, because it's not about knowledge. It's not about just, because that's too often, right? We follow courses and like, oh yeah, that's great, and we don't do anything with it. I want this to be very practical. I want this to become your framework. So the first one is the VMC framework, and this is something we've done on Monday. But with the VMC framework, I call it vision, mission, and the core values. So those are the 3 things you want to have in this first box. And like I said on Monday, this is super important. This is the foundation. So the first, and this is more or less about business and life. It's not just business, not just the vision of your business. It's what that creates for you, your family, your environment around you. So the first one is vision. And so I want you to define, think about like 10 years from now, or if that feels too far away, 10 months from now, where do you want to go? What is the direction you're going to take? And like I said, we talked about this in strategic alignment with the first part, and that was the why. So where do you want to go? What is the vision of your business/life? And then you can later easily translate it into a business mission and vision that you can put on your website. But for now, this is just for you. This is your foundation. So what is the vision? What do you want to achieve in the long run? So right now, write down a couple of words, maybe a sentence, whatever comes up. Again, don't overthink it. This doesn't have to be perfect. This is not something that you have to show anywhere. This is for you to get more and more clear on your foundation. So where do you want to go? I'll give you a minute. No, 30 seconds, because I have a lot to share today. Where do you want to take it? 10 years from now, 10 months from now. And then the mission, so that's the second part of the VMC framework. The mission is, how are you going to get there? What are your 3 tactics? Or 1 or 2 tactics, whatever you want to do. What are your tactics to get there? Because it's always, sometimes we're just thinking about strategies, but we have no clarity on where we actually want to go. So what happens then? You do all your strategies and it's working out great, and you climb and you come on top of the mountain and you suddenly realize, oh, but this is not how I wanted it, because we were not clear on which mountain we're going to climb. So the vision is the clarity, what is going to be on the top when you reach it, that's where you want to go. And the mission is really the tactics you're going to use to climb that specific mountain. So what are the ways that you do it in? How are you going to get there? How are you going to get to the top? And then the third part of this framework is your core values. Now, we talked about this, your guiding principles on day 1 on Monday. And these are the 3 values, how you're going to get there. So in which way? Because everybody can climb a mountain, but you can do it angry and aggressive and at cost of everybody around you. Or you can do it compassionate and kind and helping the people around you. And maybe it takes you slower to go to the top, but at least it's aligned with your values. So what are your core values? What is the way that you're gonna get there? So this is not about the tactics, but this is the feeling behind it, the intention behind it. Okay, again, I said it's gonna go a bit fast today, so take your time to watch the replay, go through it again if you need to. Or watch the replay and put it on pause, or just scribble down some words right now to brainstorm, and then you can easily come back to it later. So we're going to go to the second step, and that is your ideal client profile generator. So this is all about your target client. You see, you come first and then your client. And why? Because I told you on Monday, you're not going to get out of the valley of despair if everything you do is for another person. There needs to be something in it for you. And so after we have that very clear, where we want to go, how we're going to go there, and what our core values is, then it's the second step, and this is your target audience. And this is freaking important. Your ideal client. If you want to build a successful business, you need to solve a real problem of somebody. So, and that somebody is your ideal client. And your ideal client doesn't only want you to solve the problem, it also needs to be willing to pay to get that problem solved. So this whole package it needs to have. And for this, it is very important to get a clear understanding of the ideal client you want to serve. So think about it. Who do you want to serve? Who do you want to help? Of course, I know you're a sleep consultant, so you want to help the families get the rest they need. So who are you helping? Probably the mom, the dad, the parents. Okay, but this is not enough because we all do that. All of us are sleep consultants. I want you to go a layer deeper. Just having tired mom as your ideal client is not enough. I want you to go layer deeper and think about, and we're going to come to that bit in the third step as well, about your unfair advantage. Think about something that you can uniquely offer. You now say tired moms, but could it be moms who have an autistic child? Could it be, for example, my ideal clients are families who are traveling, because I do that myself constantly. So it's something that I resonate with, that I easily can talk about, that I understand the situation of. It could be single moms after a divorce, and they're now struggling with getting their child to sleep. You know what I mean? So go a little bit layer deeper than just moms or tired moms. Think about that. Then for the second step on this one, on the ideal client profile generator, is you want to know who you want to serve, and then you want to figure out what is the problem that you're solving. What is their biggest frustration? What is their biggest unmet need? And again, that's why I told you, don't be stuck with tired moms, because then you come with a problem that we all would say. And whatever you're sharing out in the world, I don't want it to be able that my name can be put on it, or my fellow sleep consultant's name can be put on it. I want you to be unique. So we all offer the same service, but presented in a different way, with our own vibe, our own authenticity. So what is the problem that you're solving? Think about it. If you're a mom who has a child with autism and has trouble sleeping, she has different problems than the single mom who has a child that needs help with sleeping, support. You see, so what is their biggest problem? What is their frustration? What is their unmet need? Think about that. So the single parent doesn't maybe have the luxury of support, and that's why she's struggling. So it all comes back to, what do they believe? What do they fear? What do they desire? All these questions come back here. So what is the problem that you're solving? What does their reality look like now? Where do they want to go? So what is this gap that you're filling? So they have a problem. And then the next question is, where do they want to go? What is the end result? What is the expectation? Of course they want them to sleep through the night. We all know that. But that's not just it. There's always something else as well. Is that they want to have the ability to go to a family meeting in the evening, or to visit their neighbors knowing that their kid's sleeping apiece. Or do they want to be able that the grandparents can put them to bed so they can go out for a date? You know, there's always more than just wanting their kids to sleep through the night. Or maybe they have a full-time job and they're like, I cannot perform at my job. This is the biggest problem because I can get fired and we need that money. So my kids need to sleep because, you get what I mean? So what is their desire? What is the result? What is the effect it's going to have? And think about your ideal client. Be specific. And then the fourth element is, what is the future state? So what is the long-term effect of all of this? And then if you combine all those four parts, you create an I help statement. And that can look something like this. I help single moms who are working 2 jobs, so that's the first part, to create a sleep plan and an approach that fits with their lifestyle, so they can both enjoy restful nights, wake up refreshed, to be their best selves. So this is what I want you to do for your ideal client profile generator. Have a very clear I help statement. So it's I help, here you put down the clients, who are the people you're helping, who are talk about their current state. What is their issue right now? 2, where do they want to get? What is the result? So they can, and that is the future state part. I'm going to drop it in the comments after this recording, so you can see it written out. I'm visual, so I would have loved that. So the I help statement. You know, because what I see a lot is with the ideal client, a lot of coaches are focused on the avatar from the point of view of demographics, like how old are they, where are they living, what is their job, what is their lifestyle, what is their financial situation. While I think it's so much more effective to address the psychographics. So what are their values, their beliefs, their desires, their pain points, all these aspects of your ideal client, because this is an emotional connection. The rest is just statistics and data, and we want to build this trust relationship, right? And then what I do, what I love to do is also always have somebody in mind that describes this ideal client, and it can be a previous client, it can be you find a picture on the internet and it's going to be this is your ideal client. It's easiest if you know somebody who embodies all of that you were writing about for your I help statement. So, and print it out, hang it next to your computer, so every time when you're putting something out, you write to this person. Because it's just, you cannot talk to 100 people, right? It's going to be just too general. Talk to this one person and say, hey, listen, I came across this article today, I had to think about you because this might be helpful and this is my take on it, for example. But if you write to that one person, if you talk on the camera while you're recording an Instagram reel or a Facebook a video or a YouTube video, and you're talking in the camera and you think about that one person that you want to share this valuable information with, that's all it needs. This one person. And if a person is looking at it and feels like this is a real connection, this is when you get messages and people act like they don't know you and you have no clue who they are, then you're doing a good job. Okay, we're going to move on to the third step, and that is the unfair advantage identification. We want to identify this as fast as possible. So what is this? If you want to have success as a sleep consultant, it's not about the person who works the hardest. It's about the person that can see their unfair advantage and use it. So an unfair advantage is something that makes you special and that sets you apart from your fellow sleep consultants, from your competition. And this is more than just a unique selling point. You might have heard that, like, what is your unique selling point? Because your unfair advantage is your special sauce. And it's often a thing that is not earned or you worked for it. No, this is how life happened to you. It's like I said in that example. If you gave birth to a child with autism, that's not something you worked for or that you earned. This is something that happened to you and you had to deal with it and find your way with it. So how much of a great position are you to specifically help parents who go through the same experience, right? Or like I said in the other example, maybe you went through a divorce and now you have to raise your child by yourself. And that brings a whole lot of different struggles. So you're the perfect person to speak to those people. Or maybe your dad, when you were young, forced you to follow law school and you did this whole study and you never wanted to do something with it. And now you're thinking, hey, wait a minute. How can I use this in benefit of my business? And it sounds so far away from each other. But there's always a way, because maybe now you decide to work with parents or moms who are in the law industry, I don't know if you call it like that, or working for law agencies. And you can address them specifically. I know the demand of the job. I know what's expected from you. And I know you come home and you're exhausted because you gave it all to your clients and you want to be there for your child, but your child is crying, is overtired. You know, you can speak to that person. So your unfair advantage is something that is uniquely to you. And you try to make it as unique as it is to you. Now that is an unfair advantage, but a real unfair advantage is something that cannot be easily copied by your competitors. Something that helps you stand out and that helps you be different. So it's not about just knowing it, it's about really using it. You need to leverage it, because this is going to be so much easier to connect with your ideal clients. It's going to be so much easier in your messaging. You see, everything what we do today is going to help you tomorrow. The more clarity you get here, the easier it's going to be. So think about that now for a moment. What is your unfair advantage? What experience, what study, what skills, what life circumstances do you have that you can use in your benefit? And like I said, write everything down that makes you different, and then you'll start finding connections. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. So find your unfair advantage and then start thinking about, how could I use this? You are unique. Everybody has an unfair advantage. We sometimes don't see it. We're all unique, and everything we've been going through is different to all of us. Okay, we're going to move on to number 4. That's on the right side in the middle, and that is the MRD formula. And this has everything to do with choosing your business name. Now, this workshop is specifically for new sleep consultants. So I'm almost sure that you already thought about a name. Maybe you registered your name already. Then you just listen to this and think about if all of these key aspects that I'm going to share with you, if they are correct with your name. We don't want to change a name after 1 or 2 years in business. This is not going to be good for your branding. So think about that right now very well. And it's really funny because I know this is something that most people think about as the first thing. I'm going to think of a business name, and it is exciting. I know it's exciting, and it's overwhelming as well at the same time, because there are so many names already out there. But this is something you best do after you figured out where you want to take your business, who your ideal client is, what is your unfair advantage, because then you can pick a name that resonates with this ideal client. You see, if you say sweet sleep consulting, or you say sleep consulting for children with autism. I just come up with a name. You see which one is speaking more directly to the target audience, obviously, right? So keep that in mind. We want to have a name that is, and this is the MRD formula, so you have to check, is memorable. So it should be easy to remember for people, because if they hear you say it and they want to Google it, they need to be able to remember it. So you don't want to have like difficult names or pronunciation that are different than the writing is. It needs to be memorable. The second is relevance. You want it to be relevant to your business, to your ideal client, to your industry. So to your ideal client, to your target audience, that will be the best, of course. But at least to your industry. Don't come up with a name that has no relevance. Then you're missing the point. And then the third one of the MRD formula is the distinctiveness. You want to stand out from your competitors. And that doesn't mean, like I said, in creative, weird names with dashes and difficult to pronounce. Not in this way. But you want to be very clear, what are you going to be known for? So how are you going to stand out from the others? So it's unique, but not unique in a creative way. It's unique in a way that they can easily find it back in a crowded space of sleep consultants. So this is going to help you create a very strong, unique identity and a memorable impression. And that's what you want for your business. So if you thought about a name already, make sure that it's memorable, relevant, and distinctive. So you're sure that you're covering that. Oh, so exciting! I'm so curious to see all these new businesses of you guys come out of the ground. We're gonna move on to step 5, and step 5 is the echo effect. Now, as you can see already a little bit, you see a message and then another message, and this is what it does. You want to echo back the language of your ideal client. You want to use their wording, and this is why it's so good if you're speaking. If you are addressing your ideal client in a position where you were a couple of years ago, it's the best because this is the language you've been speaking for such a long time. So you immediately pick it up and sense the nuances when you say, are you looking for a sleep consultant, or are you looking for somebody who understands that a child with autism cannot follow all these standardized programs and we need something different? So you can speak to your audience. And so for this part, for your brand, this is about your voice, your brand voice, your brand tone. How do you speak? What is the language you're using? And it's not so much about the words, but the way you express them. Like, I've seen a couple of sleep consultants who go the bold way and using some curse words and like making it extreme, but like for the more the young crowd, I would say. There are also sleep consultants who go the compassionate approach. And they use this in the brand voice, their brand tone. Again, you want to match this to your ideal client. What is the way they speak? Like the busy business mom, she doesn't want to read posts of like 1,000 words and blog articles. She's like, okay, go to the point, how to, okay, bam, let's go. You know? So this is a different brand tone and a different brand voice you want to have. So have a thought about that. How do I want to come across? What is your personality? What is your communication style? Just write down some words. Is it friendly? Is it professional? Is it direct? Is it compassionate? Is it empathic? What is it that your ideal client is going to reflect, because this is how they speak to you and you want to reflect it back. So you have like a nice fluent communication together. Okay, we're gonna go to point 6, and that is your 3x3 identity grid. And only now we're gonna come to logos, fonts, and colors, not before. You want to be staying away from that until you have that clarity. This is so important. And the 3x3 identity grid is pick 3 colors. So you have one primary color, you have a secondary color, and you have like a very light background color, or you can opt for like a very bright call to action color. Keep it very simple, 3 colors. And then you want to pick 3 fonts. You want to have a font that is for the heading, so that's a big title. You want to have like a playful font as a subheading. This makes everything, but again, this depends. Playful doesn't mean that is fitting with your ideal client, and if it's not, maybe this font is not necessary. Or you have 2 different heading fonts. And then the third one is your body text. You want to have a very clear font, easy to read, for all your documentation, your template, your sleep plan, your website. And you want to have that in all the places the same. So this is going to be your visual identity. 3 colors, 3 fonts, and 3 elements. And that's the last part. The 3 elements are things that people can recognize your brand from. So a lot of times that's at least the logo, but you want to take some stuff out of that logo or pick some other elements that are matching with it that keeps coming back. Again, we want to go for that recognition, right? This is what visual identity does. We want to, people look at some element or a color scheme or certain fonts that go together and you're like, oh, I know who this is. Oh, I've seen this before. You know, that feeling. So this is very important to create consistency. And this is going to give you clarity on like, every time you're creating online marketing materials or for your website, you know, oh wait, these are the fonts I'm using, these are the colors, and these are the elements. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is, as you can see, we're building it up, guys, right? So number 7, now we're going to talk about your story, your origin story. And this is the triple S storytelling method that I'm using. I wrote a blog about this as well. And this is about the 3 S's. And the first S stands for setting the scene. So this is where you explain why you decided to become a sleep consultant. Were you going through sleepless nights yourself, trying everything to get your child to sleep? Were you... whatever it is, maybe, so you could say here something for this first part, for example, I'll never forget those 2 a.m. wake-up calls when my baby would cry and I'd be pacing the floor, exhausted and overwhelmed. No matter what I tried, nothing seemed to work and I was at my wit's end. So that's an example that you can use for the first part. And then the second part is about sharing your struggles. So after that could come a piece about like, I read every book, I followed every piece of advice I could find, but I felt like I was just running in circles, conflicting tips, endless sleepless nights. It was like being lost in a labyrinth with no clear path out. So that can be the second. So this is about your struggles. And then the last part, of course, you want to explain the solution. How did you get out of this? After countless attempts, conversations with multiple sleep consultants, I knew I needed the right help. And it wasn't until I found a sleep consultant who truly understood the challenges of sleep training a child with autism that things started to change. With her customized strategies and empathic approach, we established a consistent bedtime routine and specialized techniques that made a huge difference. Our nights went from being a battle to becoming peaceful and restorative, completely transforming our family's sleep and daily life. You see, so this is how you want to take people through your story. It's not about like, I studied this and then I did this. No, people want to see if they can relate to you. This is going to be on your website. This is going to how you present yourself on social media. This is your pitch. When you meet people, what do? And you can literally share that. So you set the scene. You make sure that they understand what was the problem going on. Then you talk about the struggles, how it affected you and your family, your work, your life, everything. And then you want to explain the solution. And this is why I became a sleep consultant. And now I'm helping. And then you can say that. You see, if you just say, I'm a sleep consultant, it's a whole different experience than when you take them through a journey. You take them through a story. So find a way to come up with your triple S story. Your story that you're gonna have as your pitch, and you refine it, you keep refining it, that's part of it. Okay, and then we move on to step 8, and that is the 3D style guide, because now it comes and we're gonna put all of these things together in one place. And the 3D style guide has 3 Ds, and the first D is draft. Put all your ideas you have right now on paper, put them in a document. Put them in a Google Docs, in a Pages, in a Canva document, whatever you want to do. Just keep it very simple. It's a draft in the end. And you just drop down your thoughts, brainstorm your ideas. Put them all down. That is the first D. I want you to just draft. Don't make it perfect. Then the next one is document. So whenever you start working on your business and you put a message out and you're like, oh, this is a word that I saw that my client is using. Drop it in your document, in your style guide, in your brand guidelines, whatever you want to call this document. So the first one is drafting. The second one is document. It's not about like coming up with all these ideas, this is how it often goes with business plans, right? People are writing a business plan and then they never look at it again. Then you're missing the point. That's not the idea. That's why I say draft it, so you have an outline, and then document whatever you're doing, whatever is happening, whatever you're hearing, or you go for dinner and you hear somebody say something, you're like, oh, that's part of my mission actually too, and you put it in the document. So you document what's happening throughout your working, you're setting up your business, your first couple of months, first years, maybe sometimes. Because what you do right there is creating a document, and this is going to be the third D, and that is direct. To use this document to direct people to do things for you. A social media manager, a VA. You have a document that you can say, this is my mission, my vision, my core values. This is the brand tone and voice. This is my ideal client. Everything is written there. Your origin story is there, your triple S story, your, what else do we have? The explanation of your brand name. We have our 3x3 identity grid. Everything is in the document. So then you can use this to direct people to take certain tasks from your plate. You know, I see this going wrong a lot. Sleep consultants come to me, hey, do you have a VA? Yes, I know VAs. What do you want? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think social media post. Okay, do you have like brand guidelines or how? And they don't have it. And if they start working with a VA, they're like, oh, the VA doesn't do what I want. No, obviously. She just comes in a business that is not hers. It's not her baby that she created. She just wants to do her job good, but she has no guidelines, no clarity. So this is what you want to create. This is going to help you scale your business in the future. So start with it today. Everything that we've talked about, start drafting that and then keep going with your business, because now is not the time to hire somebody when you just start out. That's not the best investment for you, for your money. So start documenting everything and then use it to direct. So those are the 3Ds. And then you come at the last step, and that is your core protection. Very, very important. As you can see, after step 9, you see the microphone and the text messages and the emails. That is marketing. Before you move into that, you want to make sure that your brand is locked in. And this is what we've been building here. This is your brand roadmap. And this is the core protection. You want to always keep everything you've done here in the back of your mind, whatever you're doing. So for this, the core protection, the first step is consistency. You want to be predictable. You want to build trust with people, and trust comes from consistency. When people know what they can expect and the way you work and how you show up, it gives a sense of calmness and peace and comfort and safety. And those are all the feelings we want to have before we start working with somebody. So that's what you're doing with a brand. Be consistent. Everything that you've created now with all these steps, follow those, stick to those. Don't let your emotions get involved and like, oh, now the red color today looks nice. And no, you have your brand guidelines. Stick to them. The second one is optimization. You don't want to just create things and then let it go. This is why I said document everything you're doing, because you're changing things and ideas over time. You're getting better at certain aspects of marketing, and then you're like, oh, now wait a minute. And you go back to your brand guidelines and you write it down. It's not about doing more. I see this also so many times. Be careful with that. Don't be and doing this and this and this and this, and then everything is at a surface level. I don't want you to go wide. Go deep. This is where you're going to show up as an expert. Not about the general sleep tips. Not about the general comments. You want to go deep. You want to be known for something. So how do you do that? Is by keeping everything as simple as possible, but optimize it. Make it better. Don't do more, do better. Everything that you have. You don't have to have 5 funnels. It's ridiculous. 1 funnel. And every week you look at that funnel, and instead of building a new one, you look at the funnel and you're like, hey, they opt in for my lead magnet. They open the first email, and then almost 80% doesn't open the second email. And then instead of building a new funnel because this one is not working, you go back to that first email and you're like, I'm going to change this wording and I'm going to see what's happening then. And then the next week you go look again and you're like, oh, it works, but then not clicking on the document that I sent them. Okay, maybe I need to change the link of the download. And you know, this is what you do, optimize. Because nobody can beat you. When you have 1 freaking good funnel, it's so much easier to attract new clients than having 5 funnels who are all broken. It's bad for your reputation. That's going to be the next part. And you don't want that. So optimize, optimize, optimize. Your funnels, your products, your messaging, your everything. Go deep. Don't go wide. Don't get distracted by all these shiny opportunities and all these coaches saying all new things. Oh, can try that? I can try that. Keep it simple. It's not necessary. Keep it simple. It's going to make your life and business way much easier. So the third is your reputation. And I said that on Monday, and I'm going to keep saying that. Your reputation is everything. It takes years to build, and it takes 1 email to break it down. So you don't want that with everything. And this is why I say core values. Be clear about what you're doing. Is that aligned with what you're doing? So you easily can say yes and no to things that are aligned, so you know it's not going to hurt your reputation. But also with feedback, be mindful. If people give you feedback and it's negative, if positive, of course respond. We always need to respond to everything. But also do negative feedback and be gracious. Go figure out what's going on. Sounds really silly. I have now my Google business profile has all 5-star reviews. I never got a not 5-star review. Then last week I got a 4-star review, but the comment was very positive, and I've been very working closely with this sleep consultant. So I just asked her, I said, is there something that I could have improved to make this a 5-star review? And you know what she sent me back? oh, must be something going wrong because I meant to give you a 5. I think I clicked next to it. It can happen. Everybody's busy. But it can be also the other way around. I had a sleep consultant design client who came to me and she said, yeah, I thought that the document that I gave you, that you made very beautiful design of 20 pages, I expected you to make it back to 10 because I felt it was too long, and we had not clear communicated what she wanted and how I would do that for her. So this was for me again a reminder, oh, wait a minute, expectations need to be clear. What do you expect? What do you want out of it? So I can be at the excellent that I want to be as my core value. So this time for her, I was not at my value of excellence. It was mine, but she didn't see it like that. And I don't want that. So then you solve that problem. Your reputation is everything. You know, I've said this before also with like, when you work with somebody, you might notice it yourself as well. When you work with a company, you hire somebody and everything goes great, you maybe talk about it to 1 or 2 people and you say like, oh my gosh, I worked with this company or I bought this product, it's awesome. But when you work or you use something or you order something and it is not good, it's not like it said in the pictures or the description, and you use it, you're gonna talk to at least 8 people to say like, oh, this was so crappy, please don't buy it. So again, this is your reputation. You don't want that to be for your business because bad news spreads so much quicker than good news. So you want to protect your business. And again, come back to your values. If you keep working according to your values, it can almost not go wrong. And then the last one is your expertise. Invest in your expertise. And it doesn't have to be with money. Go on YouTube. There's so much to learn, but get better every time. Get better. When people ask you questions and you cannot really comfortably answer them, study it. Read, buy a book about it. Go on YouTube. Go read blogs about it. Find a way to keep learning, to keep growing. Because this is also another way that you can protect your brand. If you can show up as the expert and become a credible expert in your field, people start talking. And I said, it takes a long time before people start talking and the positive comments are going around. But it does. People do. So you are the brand. So you want to make sure that you have the right expertise. And it doesn't mean that you have always all the answers. But you are the person who, if she doesn't have the answer, she goes figure out the answer. So the next time, this question, easy peasy. You're going to be able to answer that. And this is part of your brand. This is not marketing. This is your branding. Whoa, those were all the 9 steps. And as you see, the arrow is going to marketing. And that is something we're going to talk about today. I really hope that this whole overview has helped you to see like the bigger picture of what it looks like to build a strong brand. And also how each of those parts of this brand framework are working together to build something very strong and solid. So tomorrow we're going to talk about your online presence. I'm going to talk about some marketing strategies to get even more clarity on everything that is going to happen when you start your business, when you register your business, or maybe you're already busy with it. So if you're putting marketing posts out and everything, stop 1 second, take the time to go through all the content of this video today. Make sure you start getting clarity, and it doesn't have to be perfect, like I said before. Make sure that you have clarity, because this is going to help you guide and make the right moves to protect your brand, to have something strong and build a business that not only you are proud of, but is also helping tons of people. And that's what I want for you. So if you have any questions about this specific topic, just drop them in the comments below or send me a DM. And I'm always happy to connect with fellow sleep consultants and help you make the next step to get your business to the next level. So I'm here, and I'll see you tomorrow for the marketing strategies. Have a great day.